everyone. This is Hanisha, Faculty of Bachelors in Journalism and Mass Communication of Tecnia Institute of Advanced Studies. Today, I am here to deliver a lecture on the topic advertising and its stages. So let's discuss what exactly is advertising first. What exactly is advertising? What do you understand by advertising? Advertising is any paid form of non-personal presentation and promotion of ideas, goods or services by an identified sponsor. Continuing to it, advertising is a business activity employing creative techniques to design persuasive communication in mass media. That activity promote ideas, goods and services in a manner consistent with the achievement of advertiser's objective. This was defined by Cohen in 1988. According to Borden and Marshall of 1971, advertising consists of those activities, visual or oral messages addressed to select publics for informing and influencing them to buy products or services. Now let's get back to the strengths and limitations of the advertising. Advertising presents a totally controllable message. Since the advertiser pays for the space in newspapers, magazines, posters, etc., or the time, whichever it is be, radio or television, he has the right to insist on his message appearing exactly as he chooses, when he chooses and how he chooses, subject to the law. An interesting new product may well be featured in the news on television, but it will be the producer, not the advertiser, who decides if it will be appear, when it will be appear, and it will not appear. Having once appeared, it will no longer be news and will then no longer be featured. An advertisement, however, can be transmitted for as many times as the advertiser is prepared to pay. Advertising delivers messages to a large number of people at low cost per contact. Sending someone to seek out a prospective customer in order to talk to them personally is very expensive. We may not be even know how to talk to because we do not know precisely who will be interested in our message. And advertising is a fast method of communicating with many people at the same time. Some people, which are television viewers, may have seen a particular advertisement so many times that they become irritated by it. Yet other people may have seen it only once or thrice. But the people are still in demand of and they are trying to grasp what they have seen and its implications. We cannot easily change the content of the advertisements to suit individual requirement or their viewpoints. Now, let's move forward to evolution of advertising. Advertising in pre-printing era. Form of advertising in that era was signboards and town criers. Signboards were made by terracotta, which is a cloth. Signboards were used to identify places, traders and artisans, and to inform people about the location of certain goods and services. Symbol of goat signifying a dairy, for example. Now let's move forward to the post-printing era. Advertising is a mediated communication via mass media. It can be traced back to the invention of the printing press with movable types in 1411. Newspapers began as a medium of advertisements. Newspaper carrying news items gained a firm foundation only in the later part of the 18th century. The Times newspaper carried classified advertisements on page till 1966. So this was all that we had for what exactly is advertising, what was the evolution of advertising. Now let's move forward to the history of Indian advertising. So there was different eras. So let's discuss about the eras. The first era was the personal selling era. This era was Suniye Meherban Kadarnan period. It was the barter era in which people sold goods against goods. The sale of slaves, animals, grains and ironware for household was through personal selling. It was not mediated. The product era. Now this is the second era. The emphasis was how to manufacture products that attracted consumers. Now let's move to the third era, the sales era. Now there was transition from information to persuasion. The whole process was hard selling, salesman approach. So now the next era, the consumer era. In this phase, human behavior began to be studied. Human psyche and behavior was given by Abraham Maslow and Sigmund Freud to understand the complexities of human mind to apply them to gather consumer insights. So let's move to the last phase of our content today, models in advertising. So the first model is AIDA model, AIDA. AIDA model is used by ad professionals to check on advertisements for The first element in that is attention. It suggests that an effective advertisement is one that commands attention and it leads to interest in the product. The next element is interest. It is created after consumer give attention to the advertisement that he or she has seen in the television. The next element is desire. When interest is created, hence there would be desire to own or use that product. And finally, the action. When desire rises, it creates finally action on the part of the consumer and he or she makes up the mind to purchase. And before we come to an end to this presentation and the lecture, I want to discuss the last model, which is the DAGMAR model. According to Russell Colley in his book, Defining Advertising Goals for Measured Advertising Results, that is DAGMAR, created a virtual storms in the advertising world in the 1960s. He defined advertising as a mass-paid communication, the ultimate purpose of which is to impart information, develop attitude and induce action benefited to the advertiser. All commercial communication that weigh on the ultimate objective of a sale must carry a prospect through 4 levels of understanding. The prospect must first be aware of the existence of a brand or a company. He must have a comprehension of what the product is and what will it do for him. He must arrive at a mental suspicion or conviction to buy the product. Finally, he must stir himself to action, said by Wilmhurst in 1999. So this was all for today I had for you in making you understand what exactly is advertising, limitations, strengths and the models of advertising. With this, I say thank you.